This is one of my favorites. July of 1777, what has happened is the British have captured our second in command. General Charles Lee has been captured by the British. Now we need him back because we're a young army. We're made up largely of school teachers and shopkeepers and farmers and whoever taking on a military army. We need our military leaders. How do you get your second in command back when the British have captured you? Well, you need to capture their second in command and have a prisoner exchange. Their second in command was General Richard Prescott, except this is not going to work out too well because General Prescott is in Rhode Island. He's on an island in the center of the harbor, and the British fleet is around that island, and on the island is a British fort, and he's barricaded in the center of the British fort. You're not going to get the guy out of there, and especially with a bunch of farmers and shopkeepers like we have for soldiers. So what do? Well, a plan was set forth by General William Barton, or Colonel William Barton. He became a general later in the Revolution, but Colonel William Barton, he says, I've got a plan that might work. It's probably not going to work. This is probably a suicide mission. So he told his troops, he said, I'm not taking anybody unless you volunteer, because this will probably get us all killed. But this is the only thing I can think of that might work. So what happened was 20 black guys volunteered, 20 white guys volunteered, 40 guys. It's really kind of what we would call the beginning of Special Forces, maybe the first SEAL team mission that went out. And what happened was the first guy up in the first boat leading it off was a black patriot named Jack Sisson. And so what they've got to do is get past the British boats. So what they did was they took the oars on the American boats and they covered the oars with cloth on the end, what they called mufflers. That way when you're rowing through the water, it doesn't slap the water with the oar, it's just kind of swoosh, swoosh. And so about 2 o'clock in the morning, they go rowing right under all the British Navy, go right through all the Navy. Navy doesn't hear them, they're not expecting anything. Now they get to the island where the British fort is. The British soldiers aren't expecting anything, so they knock out all the watchmen, get them all knocked out. And now they've got to find where General Prescott is. Well, General Prescott is barricaded inside a room in the center of the fort. It's got a big oak door on it. It's got a big oak post behind it. It's got wrought iron hinges. And they're going, oh my gosh, this is not a good deal. We're going to have to take hammers and beat the door down. By then it'll wake everybody up and we're all going to be dead. And at that point, Jack Sisson says, we've got a solution. His solution is a whole lot. If you remember the movie Princess Bride, remember that? Remember what happened? Just remember this clip? Andre the Giant was Jack Sisson. That's what Jack did. Jack said, you guys back up. He said, I've got this. And so what happened was Jack backed up. He lowered his head and lowered his shoulder and ran right through the door. Knocked it off the hinges, broke the oak on the back, broke through the door. General Prescott sat up in bed like, what's going on? Jack went over and knocked him out cold with one punch. Jack picked him up, put him under his arm, walked outside, threw him in the boat, and rowed back across with the general. So it's the coolest story ever. It ought to be a movie, and it may be. I've read 2 Hollywood scripts that we had input into, and Jack Sisson. Cool story. But again, Jack Sisson's not known today. If I take you to 1781,